All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Indian Wells. And we've just had Feast take out FAA. We've had Sabalenka take out Osaka. And now we've got Zverev Tiafoe. Winner's going to play Feast. So we already know how this looks. God, Feast looks so good, man. I'm so impressed. I can't wait. Feast brings that energy. You know he's going to play. If he plays either of these guys, you know he's going to be fire. But great win by Feast. Zverev versus Tiafoe. They have got a bit of history. They played a few times. Tiafoe really. I want to double check if this is his best 1,000 event because he has made the semis here before. He does seem to play well here. So I wonder if it is his best. 8-1 in favor of Zverev in the head-to-head. But they did play Laver Cup. It went 3 sets a couple years ago. 3 sets. Also, at Roland Garros, it went 4 sets. Close 4 sets in 23. They did play a 5-setter back in the US Open 2019. So, yeah, Tiafoe has put up a fight against Zverev, but he doesn't have any wins to show for it. I'm really keen to see Zverev because I watched the highlights of that Nakashima win, and he was angry. Somebody, I don't know, somebody peed in his shoe or something. Like, somebody really... I don't know what's happened. Somebody kicked him in the leg or something because Zverev was pissed. And angry Zverev, I'm all for it. He's maybe angry at, because he doesn't want to slam. He's pissed off that everybody's saying he's the best player without a slam. Maybe that's why. But I love it. By the way, speaking of Tiafoe at Indian Wells, he's actually done average here. But he made the semi-final once, so that is cool. But yeah, he's 53% winning record here. Not great. But also, I mean, it's his third best 1,000 by result. He's better in Miami. That's his best 1,000. But still, he made a semi-final once, so, that tracks. So, anyways, Zverev, 30 love. But yeah, Zverev out here playing aggressive. Love that. Zverev serves. A fault second serve. Also, Paolini's taking on Gibson. We'll keep an eye on that as well. And then we've got, after this match... Oh, sorry, do I have the names wrong? God damn it. The coffee still hasn't kicked in. Hang on. My bad. Thank you for telling me just in time. All right, 40 love. And then, yeah, we've also got... where are we? We also have, after this match, Tien versus Fokina, which we'll probably watch because filling the time. And then, yeah, tonight matches are going to be nuts. Tonight's matches will be very fun. All right, first there's a fault by Zverev, 40-15. All right, Zverev comes to the net. No, he doesn't. Stays back. Now he comes to the net. Slice from Tiafoe in the net, and it's 1-love Zverev. 1-0 Zverev. All right, first game goes to Sasha. As Tiafoe drinks out of one of the biggest jugs I've seen. Fonseca Sinner is just horrible timing for India. Well, look, if tennis is horrible time for everybody at some point. It's not a sport that's on at a reasonable hour ever. That's just how it is. All right, Tiafoe to serve. All right. One love. As we return now to the back end of Foe, back in now from Zverev, into the back end of Tiafoe. Zverev back in on the stretch, but Tiafoe hit it wide. Love 15. Love 15. Good serve from Foe. 15-0. Not often you see someone come back from 5-love deficit in a tiebreak. I know, right? Yeah. And look, and people are going to say, like, you know, look at the negative and be like, oh, how did Felix lose? But look, at 6-3, when he was up the set points, Feast served well, and then that ridiculous backhand that Felix couldn't get, you know, couldn't get the volley. So Felix, I don't think Felix choked is going to be the narrative, but nah. You got to give Feast the credit for that. He clutched it. 30-15. Also, even at 5-love, I think Feast served, got to 5-2. And then I think at 5-2, there was like Feast hit a really good shot to get to one of the mini breaks back. So there was only really one of the mini breaks that, you know, I mean, again, 5-love was deceiving as that goes out. 5-love, and then Feast serves two. You know, he serves 2 points. 5-2. Felix served for the set. Feast wins a great point. 5-3, 6-3. Then Feast serves twice, wins 2 points. Then 6-3, plays a ridiculous point. Nothing FAA could do. Gets a 6-0. Like again, I feel like FAA shouldn't get. People shouldn't be harsh on FAA. You got to credit Feast. All right, 40-15 Tiafoe. Double fault, 40-30. 40-30. If you see how the points played out, Feast played ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, you got to start. Yeah, watch that tiebreak from 5-love and see how Feast was able to come back, not how Felix, you know, lost the lead. Well, actually, no. See how Felix lost the lead because it wasn't Felix losing the lead. You know, Feast has learned from Goran. Yeah, is Goran not there though? Because I didn't see him in the box. Maybe he's just hiding in the box. I couldn't find him, but. Is he there this week, or maybe is he not there? Santiago.
Zverev aces over 12.5. Tiafoe aces under 5.5.
There you go with the 2. I feel like 12.5 is high. That's like... I don't know. I feel like 12.5 is high for Zverev. But I don't know. Look, we're not a betting channel, so don't take my advice. I don't have advice. There's no betting advice here. Good luck, though. 15-0. Zverev did serve 15 aces against Nakashima, but that was in 3 long sets. So, I mean, if this goes 3 sets, you need this to go 3 sets, though. If you want it to be Zverev to get 15 of 12, whatever, aces, it's got to be a 3-setter. So, yeah. You needed to go the distance. Because against Berrettini, he served 4 aces. And that was straight sets. So, you need this to be a long match. If Zverev's going I mean, Zverev, Nakashima-Zverev was a long match. And he got 15. So again, take that with whatever. Not advice, just observation. 30-15. But yeah, 12.5 seems high on for Zverev at Indian Wells. 30-15. I don't know about Tiafoe, but yeah. First serve's a fault, second serve. Second serve, Zverev. As the backhand return goes off the tape. Zverev gets up with a slice. Big fight backhand down the line, win up. That's 30-all. Tiafoe gets a little lucky. 30-all. Dash's torn a tendon, worse injury than she initially thought. Doing rehab, pulled out of Miami. No! Anyway, it's 40-30. Ace down the team is Zverev. There's an ace. All right, 2-1. Is that Zverev's first ace of the day? Let me check. No, he's already hit 3 aces. Holy shit. Wait, what? Oh, hang on a second. Wait. When they played last time, what was the... Actually, what's an accurate... They haven't played for a while, so I mean... Zverev did serve 12 aces against him at the Laver Cup, and that was that was a close match, though. Again, I still think 12's ambitious. All right. Zverev has 3 aces already. Serve bot? Again, this is not a betting channel, so hopefully you didn't listen to anything or everything that I said. Okay. All right. Yeah, hopefully Dasha gets better soon. Hopefully it's not... Because she's great on clay. We need her back on the clay. That's her thing. Clay is her thing. She can't be absent for the clay season. That's where she thrives. And then the grass. All right. Palini and Gibson have started, by the way. Keep track of that. Tiafoe to serve 2-1, Zverev. As Tiafoe serves. To the forehand of Zverev, return the backhand of Foe. Zverev backhand to the forehand of Foe. Tiafoe goes wide, though, and it's love 15. Love 15. First serve is a fault. Second serve. Seven to the forehand is Zverev. Return goes long, and it's 15-all. That was a poor return. 15-all. Serve again. There's a fault. Second serve. Double fault. 15-30. All right, serving to the backhand of Zverev. Zverev in the net, 30-all. As the return goes in the net by Zverev, 40-30. Good serve down the tee. Zverev returns the forehand of Tiafoe. Forehand from Zverev. Into the forehand of Foe as Zverev down the line with the forehand. Slice from Tiafoe is in the net, and Zverev gets the deuce. All right, deuce. Also, chat, we're almost at 290K. Okay. Deuce. Serving to the forehand of Zverev. Forehand from Tiafoe. Great cross-court forehand, but Zverev gets it back. And then the inside-out forehand. Zverev with a slice in the net. Too good from Foe. Advantage Tiafoe. Advantage Tiafoe. By the way, Chad, I don't know about you, but I'm getting excited for the clay season. It's right there. I'm getting excited. I'm like, let's get through the Sunshine Double, but then let's get on the dirt. Let's get on the dirt. Let's get in the mud, in the sludge of clay. Let's get into the let's get it. Backhand rally. Zverev again, cross court the backhand of Tiafoe. Tiafoe on the net, back to deuce. Well, let's get messy. All right, deuce. As Tiafoe serves. Here's a let. As we default second serve. Always most exciting part of the season. Agree? Yeah, I'm ready for it. As the return goes out by Zverev, and it's advantage Tiafoe. I feel like this is going to be a long match. Advantage Tiafoe. Return of Klavidev? I hope so. Time to get off the concrete. I agree. Yeah. Now let's get the drop shots and the 50-shot rallies and sliding around on the dust as that forehand goes now by Foe, and it's deuce. All right, deuce. Am I following Talia Gibson? I am, in silence. We don't watch Aussies. All right. As Tiafoe gets to advantage. Advantage Foe. This is a long game. Advantage Tiafoe. First serve, fault, second serve. Yeah, we don't follow Aussies. You know the rules. But I'm following her from a distance. Backhand to backhand rally. As Tiafoe backhand again, the backhand is Zverev. Tiafoe backhand slice. There's a drop shot. Zverev comes in with the backhand down the line. That's a good shot. Up goes a lob by Tiafoe. Bounce smash Zverev. Oh, he went down the line. That was the right idea, but he just hit the tape on the way through. Unlucky. 2-0. I don't mind that for Zverev. It was a tough smash. He tried to direct it down the line. And he hit the tape on the way in, but I don't mind that from Zverev. If he went safe cross-court, he would have lost the point anyway. Because Tiafoe was there. So I don't mind that he went for it. 2-0. Tiafoe holds a long game. Head-to-head is 8-1 in favor of Zverev. But they've played some close matches. It hasn't been, all straight sets, right? As Big Foe hits a return winner. Love 15. Whoops. Remember, the winner of this plays Feast in the quarterfinals on Thursday. Great return from Tiafoe. Zverev with the serve. As the return goes out by Foe. 15-0. All right, serve again. Into the forehand of Tiafoe. Back in it, Zverev. Foe guesses right. Zverev with the volley. Foe with the pass. In the net. Ooh, he knows he had that too, Tiafoe. But he nets it. All right. As the return goes in from Foe, Zverev goes up the line, and then Tiafoe hits it in the net. 40-15. 40-15. By the way, chat, speaking of Australians playing tennis, I had a random thought as I was making my tea between streams. I was thinking, why is Australian tennis not doing better? One, we all know, because when you have successful players from that country people want to play tennis, right? So it's not that there's a lack of people playing tennis in Australia. People play tennis, but I think it's a lack of watching tennis. I don't think people in Australia actually watch enough tennis to want to be a tennis player. Because of time zones. And also access. Because India and Wales, for example, good time zone, not on TV. You have to, it's not on TV. Not in Australia anyway. But Australian Open is January, people are playing tennis. People are into it. But then nobody watches tennis until Wimbledon. Maybe, if it's on, they'll see it. But I think, I was thinking, maybe it's not just lack of high profile champions, right? We've got De Minaur, but I think it's just because when I was a kid, I remember watching on the holidays, staying up all night watching Wimbledon, right? Staying up all night because I didn't have school in the morning and stuff. But I never got the French Open. But then same thing. We had Australian Open and everything in January. French Open wasn't shown on Australian TV. I randomly found a tennis, weekly tennis ATP roundup that was every, Monday on, a random channel. But unless you had, cable, you couldn't watch tennis. And I remember when I would go to my friends or someone who had cable TV, I would watch, or my cousins who had cable, I would watch tennis on there. But, yeah, I think maybe it's just because Australians don't watch tennis. Unless it's, during the Australian Open, because it's just there's no access. Even one of the biggest streaming platforms in Australia that show like every sport. They don't show any tennis. Yeah, that's got to have an effect on people getting into tennis. If you're not watching tennis, then how are you going to watch Alcaraz and want to be Alcaraz? You know, like you got to wait for the Australian Open, and then you got to like, then what? You know. So I think maybe that just a random thought. By the way, speaking of watching tennis, not a segue, but also it works. If you want to watch tennis, we were collaborating with Tennis TV, the new Tennis TV app. It's new. They've done a big update. Scan the QR code, click the link down below, get the new Tennis TV app. If you want to watch tennis on the ATP side, outside of the slams, they don't do the slams, but they do all the men's matches outside of the slams and the Davis Cup. They don't do that either. But if you want to watch that, Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, Madrid, Rome, all the 1000s, all the 500s, you can watch it on Tennis TV. Get the new app. The app, it's cool. I've been mucking around with the app this week. It's got some new features, and yeah, like I said, you can watch the tennis on there too. All right, 3-2. But yeah, I don't know. I was like, yeah, how are you going to get into tennis if you can't watch it? Anyways, that goes out by Tiafoe, love 15. I mean, I can speak from personal experience. Like, if I didn't watch Leighton play the Australian Open, and if he didn't do well in Australia, I wouldn't have watched. I was playing tennis before I watched tennis, but that took it to another level. Like seeing Leighton in like 04, 05, especially 05, that inspired an entire generation of tennis players. Him making the final, but I don't know. It's not like it's on De Minaur's shoulders to make the final of Australia to make tennis, popular. But I don't know. It's like tennis not being on the television more often probably doesn't help the sport in Australia. Also, it's very hard to Australia's a very remote country. It's not easy to get to the tournaments that, the lower level tournaments that are around the world. There's not too many ITF events here. Or challenges. Backhand winner down the line from Foe, 1530. You got to go to Europe or go to college in America to get for a significant pathway. There's not really any. Oh, you got to. I think most of the Aussies play the ITF events in like Asia, right? They go to like China or Japan or whatever, to play like those ITF events, World Tour events. As far in the net, 1540. Indonesia, have ITF events, stuff like that. Is tennis played at schools? Not really. I mean, I played tennis once at school, for the school, because me and my friend were the only ones who like wanted to play. It wasn't, yeah. I mean, I went to a small school and, a small public school. So, I mean, maybe if I went to a fancy school, I would be able to play tennis. But yeah, I mean, I've coached kids who go to like the private schools and they have tennis teams and shit and stuff. But then going to a private school and playing tennis isn't a pathway. Like De Minaur didn't do that, right? I don't think Barty went to a private school, played tennis, and then became a pro, right? That's not the way to become a pro. As Zverev hits a cross-court winner, and that's 4-2. Like playing high school tennis, it's not the same as America, right? America, you can play tennis in high school, you can play college tennis, and then play pro tennis, right? There's that structure. But in Australia, it's not like that. There's no college, right? We don't have college, we have university. And even when I went to uni, there wasn't tennis. It wasn't like a tennis team. You didn't play for your college. It was just like... It's weird because university in Australia is so different to college. There's no like allegiances, right? If whatever college you go to, nobody cares. Like as long as you go to like one of the big five, nobody really cares in Melbourne anyway. Like it's not like I went to here and I went to here and we're rivals. There's none of that shit because they don't play sports in those things. People are there to like learn how to be a nurse. They're not there to play football. So it's not the same. You know, it's not that same like school structure that like it is in America. Yeah. Anyways, 4-2. But that's what, you know, the new CEO of Tennis Australia is going to have to figure out, because that's been a criticism of Craig Tiley's Australian, you know, Tennis Australia CEO, right? That the Australian Open's thriving, but tennis in Australia is not doing as good. You know, the tournament, he's a great tournament director, but, you know, tennis in Australia is not as strong as it should be, you know, and that's, you know, he was wearing two hats, right? He was the tournament director and the CEO. Now there's two different jobs. So the guy who comes into CEO, or the girl who comes into CEO, so the lady that comes into CEO, that will be very interesting to see how they try and get more tennis. I mean, America's got a system. Europe has got the advantage, right? Because they've got all the tournaments. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the new CEO of Tennis Australia comes in and tries to do to fix, to create like a system or a pathway, you know, for Australians to actually have a chance of being a pro. 15-all. Anyways, Zverev's got a break, 4-2. While I say that, Gibson breaks, so it's it's working. Yes, it's working. All right, 15-all. All right, 30-15. Zverev trying to consolidate the break here. All right, serve again from Zverev. There's a bit of fault second serve. Second serve. And the return goes to the back of Zverev. Foe with a slice. Into the forehand Zverev. Tiafoe backhand pass. Zverev with the volley. Tiafoe pass again. Zverev volleys. Straight to Tiafoe. Puts up a lob. Zverev with a backhand. A backhand high volley into the net. All right. 30-all. 30-all. Tennis Australia just needs to buy the top people from the Czech Federation. Job done. Now, it's not that simple. It's not that we don't have good athletes. I mean, look at the Olympics. Look at like other sports. We are like Australia is a sporting country. We have a lot of good athletes, right? It's not a we don't have enough. We don't have people to do it. I feel like it's a combination of watching on TV is probably one of the last reasons, right? But I think it's more that like access to tournaments. We just don't have those tournaments that the Europeans get or the Americans get, right? We just don't have that structure. 30-40. Again, tennis is expensive because you have to travel a lot and then, you know, stay in hotels and stuff. By the way, travel is going to get worse, which sucks. You know, I love travel and, you know, travel is going to get more expensive, but we're not talking about that. Break point. So yeah, it's going to be even tougher now, you know. All right, 30-40. Break point. Tiafoe. Ace out wide. And he gets the deuce. But yeah. Yeah, and when I get like a week to do this, I really want to go into like break down all of the tournaments in the world, like all of the, you know, all the ATP WTA events, all the ITF events, all the challenges, and break down what countries or what regions of the world, right? Europe, what continents, right, have the most. And does that correlate with the top 100? How many players are in the top 100 from Europe, America, Asia, Australia, South America, right? I'm going to do that when I have a chance. I haven't had a chance, but I really want to do that just for my own understanding. Anyways, Zverev hits it out deuce. Because there's got to be a, there's not that many tournaments in Africa. There's not that many players in the top 100 from Africa, right? That can't be a coincidence, right? And Zverev serves an ace advantage, right? And the same thing has to be true for Australia. There's not enough tournaments, smaller tournaments for Australians to get good at. We've got Grand Slams, we can get wild cards, but the question will be, is there enough tournaments in Australia to get good at tennis? Or do we have to move to Europe to get good? Right? Like De Minaur did that, but also De Minaur because he was, he kind of won the lottery when it comes to his parents being, being able to go to Spain, right? That isn't, not everybody gets that opportunity. Not everybody's parents are from Europe, right? So, it's just interesting. I want to know why. I need to know these questions. Because tennis in Australia should be better. We have a Grand Slam. And we should have, the Americans are thriving. We should be doing as well as them. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this project. I'm going to make a PowerPoint presentation, and maybe during a rain delay, I'll do a TED Talk. All right. That would be a very interesting presentation. Yeah, I think so. I just need answers, man. I need answers. Because I've heard a lot, right? I've heard a lot of Pat Cash has had an opinion on it and stuff. And look, I love, I want to get to we love Cashy. So I love the opinion. And I would love to hear Leighton's opinion on why. But then again, he's probably going to be like, well, tennis is fine. But I want to know, or is it not that bad? Maybe we're getting confused because tennis we're so used to having so many good, we're so used to having champions that maybe tennis is actually all right, but we just don't have, those top 20 players that we used to have consistently. Maybe tennis is doing really well in Australia, but we just don't see the results as much. All right, 15 love. All right, 15 love. And Zverev shanks the return, and it's 30 love. Serve again from Tiafoe. Here's a fault. Second serve. As a return goes out by Zverev. 40 love. France is also underwhelming. Feast, Rinderknecht, Nesh. Yeah, Humbert. Yeah, well, that's another thing. I think doing this research will also highlight other parts of the world too, not just Australia. Why, obviously I'll start by looking at Australia, but yeah, why is France? France. The fact that France hasn't had a Grand Slam champion for 40 years, that can't, on the men's side, can't be, how has that happened? Because they have no excuse, right? There's so many tournaments in Europe. They're literally on Europe's doorstep. How do they not have more players that are winning big tournaments, right? Yes, Gasquet, Tsonga, right, and Monfils have been great. But, why have they not been more successful at the slams on the men's side? You got Bartoli and Pierce on the women's side, right? But yeah, France should be kicking Australia's ass when it comes to tennis because you know, that they have all these tournaments right there, you know, as well as the French Open, Wimbledon, right? They're you know, all the 1,000. They've got a 1,000 event. They've got, you know, a bunch of 250s. Like, there's no reason why France should not have way more tennis players doing a lot better than Australia, you know, because we've got the excuse of, well, we live too far away, it's too hard. France they live in the middle. They're right there. You can even say Monte Carlo is sort of French, right? It's right on the border. That's right there too. So yeah, that's why like doing this will be really interesting. Just to find out, like, okay, well, why is France not doing better when they're like right there? And then like a country, why, you know, it'd be interesting to break down like how's China doing really well, or, you know, Russia's done really well late, you know, over the last, you know, 20 years. What, you know, finding out that kind of stuff is interesting. Yeah, France is in the, like right in the middle, or right there. You can go to Belgium, you can go to Spain, you can go to, you know, you can go east. Like, yeah, why? Yeah, why is there a lack of French Grand Slam champions? 30-15. Zverev says an ace down the tee. Serving for the first set. All right, as the return goes into the forehand, Zverev feast with the drop. Zverev with a drop shot, but then he comes to the net with a forehand, with a slut. Zverev's got a set point. He's got 2 set points. It's all right. I'm still thinking about Feast. He was so good. The winner of this plays Feast. Just getting confused. Zverev is serving. Sasha Zverev is serving. Arthur Feast is not here right now. He's playing the winner of this match, though. 40-15. As a return from Foe. Goes into the forehand. Zverev. Foe with a slice. As Zverev with the forehand. Goes long, and Tiafoe saves one, or survives one. 40-30. I'm just getting into like Zverev Feast. Just so, you know, I'm just practicing for the quarterfinal maybe. Foe Feast. All right. 40-30. Zverev, set point number 2. Set point 2, Zverev serves. A fault. Second serve. Second serve. Serving to the backhand of Foe. Tiafoe goes wide, though. All right. Zverev wins the first set. By the way, chat, Feast beats both these guys right now. The way Feast played, he beats both these guys. Zverev is serving well, but Tiafoe is also not returning very well. Tiafoe is returning pretty well, but, I mean, Zverev... actually, I take that back. Zverev is actually serving pretty well. Performance rating, though, on the ground strokes, that's where they're both struggling. Zverev at a 7.3 performance rating for the set, 6.6 for Foe. So again, remember, Feast was in the 8s, was the high 8s after the first set. Zverev at a 9.0 performance, shot quality on the serve, which is a very high, shot quality. Tiafoe at a 7.2, so not bad. But on the ground strokes, you know, Tiafoe 6.0 on the forehand. He's at a 5.2 on the backhand. Zverev with a 5.3 on the forehand. Zverev 7.6 backhand. That's all right. But again, Feast was so much better than these guys. His ground strokes were so much better. So whoever wins this match is going to have to be ready for Feast's ground strokes, because they were damaging for FAA. And Zverev might be able to serve well, but if Zverev doesn't pick up the ground strokes, Feast will beat him on the ground if he can get that serve back. All right. By the way, after this match, we've got Fokina and Tien. So I'm going to tune into that one. And, yeah. Also, Djokovic is playing doubles later as well. We might watch that. I'm not sure. We'll see what we do. We might watch that later as well. See how the schedule looks. All right. All right, first set in the bag, 6-3. All right. Tiafoe is going to serve first in the second. As the return goes into the corner, Foe. Backhand from Zverev. And Foe hits it in the net. Love 15. All right, return. Goes out by Zverev, 15-0. All right, return goes into the corner, Foe. Zverev with a slice lob. And then the smash winner from Foe. 30-15. $30-15. As a return goes in by Zverev. Foe gets it back to the forehand of Zverev. Foe with a forehand down the line. Great shot. Zverev slices it wide. Nice rally by Tiafoe. 40-15. $40-15. Return goes back into Tiafoe. Back in from Zverev. There's a drop shot in the net. And it's 1-love Tiafoe in the second. All right. 1-0 in the second. Yeah, Zverev's serve is sort of the difference at the moment. His forehand is not going well with Zverev. And Tiafoe's backhand's letting him down. And yeah, this is definitely a lower quality match than the first match we watched with Auger-Aliassime and Fils. That was a much better level of tennis than this at the moment. It's a little bit sloppy. As Zverev hits it in the net on the forehand. It's 15-0. All right, as we get an ace from Zverev, 30-15. All right, 30-15. Zverev into the forehand of Foe, back into Zverev. Into the backhand of Tiafoe. Zverev again to the backhand of Tiafoe. Down the line as Zverev the forehand of Foe. And Foe in the net. 40-15. Ace out wide, all right. Again, Zverev serve is the difference at the moment. One. As we return over Zverev into the net. 15 love. Even the crowd's like finding it hard to get into at the moment. It's just like not too many crazy points. As a backhand rally. Tiafoe slice into the backhand of Zverev. Backhand of Tiafoe into the forehand of Zverev. Tiafoe backhand again to the forehand of Zverev. To the forehand of Foe. They go forehand to forehand. Zverev down the middle. Into the backhand of Tiafoe to the forehand of Zverev. Tiafoe backhand again to the forehand of Zverev. Crossed into the forehand of Foe. Forehand from Zverev again to the forehand of Tiafoe. Good angle from Foe. And Zverev shanks it wide. The crowd love that one. 30 love. That was a great rally. 30 love. As Tiafoe serves again. An ace. 40 love. By the way, Zverev with 10 aces. So I hope that guy didn't listen to me. 40 love. Listen to your heart. All right. Now we're going to fault second serve. Second serve, the back is Zverev. Return into the slice of Tiafoe. Tiafoe in the net. And it's 40-15. 40-15. Serve again from Foe. As a return from Zverev. Goes to the forehand of Tiafoe. Tiafoe hits it down the line. And Zverev cannot get it back. All right. 2-1. Tiafoe leads the second. Schedule's okay today. Things are going smooth. Yeah, so far. The only thing that I don't like about the Indian Wells schedule is that the quarterfinals are all on the same day. I don't know how they'd avoid that. Maybe making the fourth round all on the same day, but then again, maybe it doesn't work that way. But yeah, the quarterfinals are going to be all. I mean, there's going to be 5 quarterfinals on center court and 3 on court 2. So yeah, it's going to be a bit messy quarterfinal day, but you know, the way that the quarterfinals are shaping up, there might be. I don't know. Maybe there won't be. If they're all bangers, then that sucks for the tournament because then they've got to put matches on other courts. For example, if we had I don't know, the women's quarterfinals are all going to be fire, so I can't say one of them's not going to be good because they're all great. If it was Mickelson, Mickelson Draper's interesting. Maybe Fonseca. No, I don't know. We have to watch all the quarterfinals. They were crazy. They're all good. They're probably all going to be good. I don't. The schedule on Thursday is going to be a bit hectic, but when you've got 8 quarterfinals, you gotta. It is what it is, right? All right, Zverev serving at 1-2. All right, Zverev serves. Into the backhand of Tiafoe. Zverev with a backhand to the backhand of Foe. Into the slice of Zverev. Tiafoe backhand into the backhand of Zverev. Zverev overhits it. Love 15. I will fix the schedule. Yeah, yeah. Now, also Friday is just going to be a crazy day because I'm going to be streaming from 5 a.m. until 5 p.m. and then I'm going to be going outside until probably midnight. So that's going to be brutal. All right, love 15. Ooh, Gibson breaks. Let's go. 15-0. As Zverev serves again. An ace down the tee. God, Zverev is a bit of a serve bot today. We're working on it, yeah. All right, 30-15. As the return goes into the backhand of Zverev. Backhand now from Foe. Into the backhand of Zverev. Tiafoe slice again. Into the forehand of Zverev. To the backhand of Tiafoe. Zverev again to the backhand of Tiafoe. And Zverev backhand again to the backhand of Foe. He goes down the line. Zverev with a slice in the nets. 30-0. Tiafoe looking for that break. 30-0. Winner of this plays Feast in the quarterfinals. All right, first serve's a fault, second serve. Ooh, double fault, Zverev. All right, break point Foe, 30-40. 30-40. Chance for Tiafoe to break. (30-40). Serving to the forehand of Tiafoe. Return goes short. Zverev with the forehand. Tiafoe with a pass. Zverev with a volley. Tiafoe with the backhand lob. It's too short. And then Zverev smashes it. Tiafoe puts a racket on it, but never coming back. Deuce. All right, we get to deuce. Zverev serves. Into the forehand of Tiafoe. Zverev with the backhand. Tiafoe puts up a lob. But the lob goes wide. Advantage Zverev. All right, advantage Zverev. There's a bit of Fault. Second serve. Serve to the forehand of Tiafoe. And Zverev, forehand cross court. Too good. Zverev holds. 2-2. Mixed double starts tomorrow. Nice. By the way, chat, Eala will play the winner of Paolini and Gibson. And right now, Gibson is winning. So, dream big. 2-2. Tiafoe serves again. Two all. First serve is a fault. As a return goes into the backhand of Tiafoe. Backhand Zverev to the backhand Tiafoe. Zverev with a slice. As Tiafoe drop shot. Zverev comes down with the forehand. Tiafoe with a backhand lob. It goes in. Zverev hits a lob over his head. And then Tiafoe comes in. Puts away the smash. Holy shit, Gibson won the first. What? 15 love. Nice lob by Tiafoe. He's been trying to do that all day. Finally gets that lob to work. And he puts away the smash. 15 love. Then ace out wide. 30 love. As Zverev returns, Tiafoe then shanks it. Ooh. All right, 30-15. Cam, it feels like Feast is closer to Sinner and Alcaraz than Fonseca. Do you agree? I think nobody's close to Sinner and Alcaraz, to be honest. I think there's a pack of guys that are trying to get close to them. I don't think he's closer than Fonseca, or Menchik is probably closer than both, maybe, because he's beaten Sinner. I don't know. I think there's just a pack of dudes that are all trying. Backhand down the line, into the forehand of Zverev. Tiafoe gets to the forehand of Zverev, to the backhand of Tiafoe. Zverev with the backhand, into the forehand of Tiafoe. Zverev with a slice. As drop shot from Tiafoe. Zverev comes in. Tiafoe with the lob, too short. Man, he just doesn't have the lob, Tiafoe. It's not consistently a good shot for him. 30-all. But I do like that he's hitting a lot of drop shots, Foe. He is definitely using that as a tactic. Drop shotting a lot. Short slicing. He's making Zverev move. But he just doesn't have the lob. Consistently. He's hit about 5 lobs. One of them went in. The others have been short. 30-all. As the return goes out by Zverev. All right, 40-30. As we default second serve. Drop shotting Zverev has always been a good play, yeah. But the thing that Alcaraz does so well is he can hit the lob. He's got that lob. As a backhand slice. From Zverev to the backhand of Foe. Backhand of Zverev to the forehand of Foe. Into the forehand of Zverev. Tiafoe down the line is good. Zverev with the backhand passing shot goes long. All right. 3-2 Foe. He stays in front. Yep, Gibson takes the first. Let's go. All right. By the way, chat, where are we watching from? Let us know in the chat where you're watching from. I'm in Australia. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's not too bad. Sierra Leone. Hey, what's up? We got USA at the work parking lot. Okay. We got Canada. We got Virginia. It's 5 p.m. Johannesburg, South Africa. Nice. We got Cyprus, Slovakia, India. London, Maine. Germany, go Sasha. Hey. Dominican Republic, Chicago, Italy. We got London in the house. Miami. Cheshire in England. We've got Cebu, Louisiana, Palm City, Florida, Delhi, India. Yeah, Hadar, stay safe. We've got Canada, we've got Lisbon. As Zverev says, nice, 15 love. Jamaica in the house. And Zverev serves again. As he hits a backhand Tiafoe. Into the Zverev forehand. Volley. So the Zverev backhand volleys from Tiafoe are good. As they have a volley off of the net. And eventually, Zverev misses. Nice exchange at the net. Both just going at each other. And eventually, Tiafoe too good. 15-0. That lit a fire into the crowd a little bit. They're a little bit more excited after that rally. Just volley, volley, volley. And then eventually, Tiafoe too strong. $15-0. His return goes into the forehand. Zverev backing out from Foe. Oh, in the net. He had a passing shot opportunity, but he missed. 30-15. Serve again. Is a fault. Second serve. Second serve. Into the forehand of Foe. Backhand it from Zverev. Tiafoe slice. Into the backhand of Zverev. Tiafoe backhand. Cross court again. Zverev with a slice. Tiafoe forehand approach in the net. The short ball was a tough one. 40-15. Chat, when am I going to get a haircut? When Zverev wins a slam? Is that what we're doing? I'm just going to go Jack Draper and just shave it all off, I think. All right. 40-15. Drop shot into the volley. The forehand is Zverev. Now a drop shot again from Tiafoe. And he wins in the net exchange again. Gibson's down a break now. 2-love. Do it. Yeah, I'm just going to... 40-30. Nice. Again from Tiafoe. Nice. He's been doing great on the drop shots. That was a good exchange. All right, 40-30. Zverev serves. A fault. Second serve. As return goes in the back of Zverev. Slice from Tiafoe. Into the forehand of Zverev. As Tiafoe forehand into the Zverev backhand. Foe backhand on the stretch in the net. And it's 3-all. All right, 3-3. Back to Tiafoe. Arian.
Cam, did you see Zverev doubles yesterday?
No. What happened? It was a really good match. Okay. All right, Tiafoe forehand to the forehand. Zverev down the line, the backhand of Foe. And Zverev goes in the slice of Foe. Zverev backhand again. Into the backhand Tiafoe. Zverev wins the point though. Tiafoe overhits it. Love 15. Love 15. Oh no, Alcaraz cancelled his practice today. Holy shit. Maybe that ankle is a problem. That's not good. Love 15. As a return goes in the forehand of Foe, and then Zverev hits a forehand wide. 15-0. That's not good. I mean, look, the only way Alcaraz loses is to an injury. Like, right? Because that makes sense. It sucks, but it makes more sense, I guess. All right, nice serve, Foe, 30-15. Hopefully it's not anything. $30-15. As a return goes to forehand to Tiafoe. Forehand to Zverev. Into the forehand of Foe. Zverev backhand. Into the slice of Tiafoe. Tiafoe on the net. Oh, he fell down too, Foe. His shoes just gave way. 30-0. He's all right, though. All right, 30-all. As Tiafoe serves again. And the return goes in the forehand of Foe. Forehand from Zverev. Into the backhand Tiafoe. Zverev with the backhand again to the backhand of Foe. Zverev with a drop shot. Tiafoe comes to the net with a drop shot. Zverev with the backhand pass. Winner down the line. 30-40. Too good from Sasha. $30-40. Serve again. Is a fault. Second serve. And the return goes into the backhand of Tiafoe. Slice from Zverev. Into the forehand of Tiafoe. Zverev with the forehand again to the forehand of Foe. To the Zverev backhand as Tiafoe drop shot again, but Zverev's going to get this one. Put it down the line. Up goes a lob by Tiafoe. Bounce smash. Zverev puts it away. Yeah, see, Tiafoe went to the drop shot too many times. Zverev started running as soon as he was shaping up for it. Zverev's like, I'm going for it. And he got there with ease. It's been a good shot for Foe. But just too many drop shots. And Zverev's too smart. 4-3. Okay. 4-3. Zverev has the break in the second. Winner plays Feast. Zverev Feast. They've had matches before. And if you've been paying attention, they've been spicy. After this, we've got Fokina taking on Tien. And then we've got the night matches, which are going to be something. They're going to be something. 3 very interesting matches tonight. It looks like Zverev Feast will happen. But hey, look. At this stage, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Can't wait for the Eala match. Yeah, I'm keen for that one too. Yeah, I feel like everyone's thinking like Eala's going to win, and she should win. I don't know, is she the favorite? Let me check. But I mean, Noskova. Okay, she's not Coco Gauff, but she ain't no slouch. So that could be a real banger tonight. It's probably going to be more like the Yastremska match where it was, went the distance. So yeah, but that's the last match of the night too. Noskova's the favorite. Interesting. Okay. That's interesting. Like, she's the kind of like the heavy favorite. Like, it's not even like I would have thought 50-50, but no, Eala, like Noskova is like the actual, like the favorite. That's a surprise to me. That's a surprise. Anyways. Yeah, Alex is better as an underdog, so that probably helps her, but yeah, that's a bit of a surprise to me. I would have thought that it would have been at least 50-50. Maybe it will be when the match starts, but yeah, that's a surprise. All right, 30-15 as Zverev gets a 40-15. Nice serving. Noskova is up like 20 spots over Eala. Why is that a surprise? Okay. You're right, because ranking matters. Only ranking matters, right? That's, yeah. You're right. Noskova should be the favorite. Why am I surprised? How stupid of me. All right, 40-15. As the return goes into the forehand of Zverev. Forehand from Tiafoe. Zverev with the forehand winner. 5-3. 5-3. What match are you watching? Gibson is not smashing anything, okay? I'm watching Zverev. 5-3. Noskova's a big hitter, but why not break through in the top 10? Why is that in the case? She just hasn't done well at slams or won thousands. Like she hasn't, like, all the players in the top 10 on the women's side, I think have won a 1,000, right? So in the last 12 months, they've won, I mean, Sabalenka or a slam, right? So she just hasn't won a big trophy. So like Svitolina has been consistent. She's the only player in the top 10 that hasn't won a 1,000 or a slam. But she's made semifinals, of slam. She's made finals or like deep runs at 1,000s. Like, so she's racked up points consistently over a season, whereas Andreeva's got Indian Wells, or she had Indian Wells. Umboko's got a 1,000. Paolini's got Rome. Anisimova's got slam finals in 1,000. Pegula's got Dubai and multiple, runs at slams. Coco, Raducanu, and Swiatek, Sabalenka all have slams. So it's not easy to crack into the top 10. Like, you have to win a 1,000 or do well at a slam, and maybe even doing well at one slam's not enough. You have to do, make 2 semifinals. So like Alexandrova, Bencic, Mukova, Noskova, Osaka are the next bunch. It's hard to get into the top 10 on the women's side. It's not easy. You gotta do something pretty big to get into it. So Noskova, I mean, maybe she gets to the Indian Wells final. I mean, that's if Noskova does that, then she'll probably be top 10. But it's not easy. Like the top 10's a competitive. It's competitive. It's hard to get into. You got to be consistent and probably win a big trophy, or at least make a final of a big final. All right, 30 all here. Zverev about to get it done to play Feast. Ooh, I'm so ready for that. That'll be the first quarterfinal. No. Yes. That could be the first quarterfinal on Thursday. Probably be the first match of the day on Thursday. If the schedule goes the way that it goes. Yeah, spicy. Very spicy. All right, ace from Foe, though. Not done yet. All right, 40-30. Serve again. Into the forehand of Zverev. Backhand from Foe. Into the backhand of Zverev. As Foe can't get that one. Zverev smacks a winner down the line. And we get to deuce. All right. And we've got Tien Fakina coming up next. And then tonight we have Madness. Top 10 clash. We've got one next gen guy taking on a current Grand Slam champion. And then Eala versus Noskova. Can Eala beat a Czech player for the first time? Volley goes in from Zverev. Up goes a lob by Foe. And then a bounce smash from Zverev. Into the forehand of Foe. Now Zverev comes to net with a drop shot. Tiafoe with a pass. Zverev with a volley. Too good. And we get to deuce. Paolini is cruising at 4-1 in the second of her match. All right, back to deuce. There are games that are so predictable. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. Foe has put in some... Look, when we're coming off the high of that last match too, this match has definitely not been anything like the last match. The quality hasn't been there. The closeness hasn't been there either. Zverev's just been a little bit too good on the serve, and Foe... both... when I look at the performance ratings, Zverev's at a 7.3, and Foe's at a 6.6. So that was in the first set, sorry. For the match, Zverev's an 8.4, which is pretty good. His serve has been the best thing about today, and his backhand's gotten better. Forward a 7.3. This match has gotten better. Like, Zverev has gotten better as the match has gone on. He's definitely been a lot better. But still, I don't think either of these guys is playing as well as the last match. As that goes out by Zverev, and Tiafoe holds. Like, if going into the Zverev match, Fils has got to like what he's seen in this one. He's like, okay, if I can get the guy's serve back, I can probably take him. Also, the Tiafoe drop shots might give Fils some ideas. He might go, hang on, I can do that. Maybe that'll be an interesting strat. All right. All right. All right. Zverev's going to serve for it. In the Miami match last year, Fils was using a lot of variety. Yeah. So it's going to be fun. If Zverev can win it now. What's the wind doing there now, like yesterday? It doesn't seem too windy. Hang on. Yeah, it's not very windy. At all. There's not much wind at all. It shouldn't be windy at all today. Not like it's been the last few days. 5-4. Zverev serving the match. We got a fault second serve. Second serve, Zverev. Great second serve. Tiafoe gets it back. Zverev goes in the back into Foe. And Foe hits a cross-court winner. All right. And the crowd go wild. Love 15. So after this, we're watching Tien versus Fokina, who are coming up next. Zverev with the serve down the tee, too strong. 15-0. 15-0. Good serve into the backhand of Foe. Backhand from Zverev. To the backhand of Tiafoe. Zverev backhand again to the backhand of Tiafoe. Backhand of Zverev again. Foe hits a forehand again to the backhand of Zverev as Tiafoe backhand up the line. And then comes the net with a volley. And they both shank the ball. And then eventually Tiafoe hits the net, goes in. Zverev puts up a lob. Tiafoe runs back, hits a backhand inside out winner. That was the worst, best rally we've seen all day. The ugliest, greatest rally. The crowd on their feet. But that was a horrendous shot making. But somehow it was a point of the match. It was not a great lob, a shanked volley. Then Tiafoe hits it off the tape. Zverev gets it with a little short lob, and Tiafoe hits an off backhand, which didn't feel like it was that clean. It was a hideous rally, but it was a great rally. 50-30. That wasn't pretty. Serve into the forehand of Foe. Return goes out 30-0. It was a wild rally. Winning ugly, yeah. The backhand was decent on the, but it was like a slow backhand inside out winner from Foe as well, which was a very smart shot if he meant it. But overall, that was just like, I'm surprised that all the shots went in. 30-0. Serve. Ace down the tee. Zverev's got a match point. All right. And after that crazy rally, a couple of big serves, and Zverev's got match point. To get to the quarters and play Arthur Fils. Zverev serves. Oh, that was nearly an ace. Hawkeye said no. Second serve. Second serve. Into the forehand. Tiafoe returns to the backhand of Zverev. Tiafoe backhand up the line as Zverev hits a forehand cross. Tiafoe gets it with his forehand, but hits it wide, and there it is. Zverev is going to take on Arthur Fils in the quarterfinals. That's going to be a spicy match. Big Four had a good week. Look, fourth round. No shame in that. But man, Zverev is he's going to have a real fun match in that quarterfinal. At least we're going to have fun. He might hate it, but we're going to have fun. Okay. Now Foe will go to Miami, which he can play well there too. He can do well in Miami. He's done well in Miami in the past. Yeah, but we got a spicy match coming up. Fils, Zverev. And Fils will be looking for blood. They have some beef. At least they've had beef. So we're going to find out. Fils is going to be extra fired up for that one. If you know, you know. All right. Now we've got Tien taking on Fokina. So, we're flying through the day session now. This next match is going to go 3 hours. Jump over here and talk amongst yourselves. But, yeah, we got Fils versus Zverev. Super excited for that one. That's coming up in a couple of days' time. Where, we're going to have a very interesting contest. They've played before. It's going to be interesting. It's not always been friendly. And Fils, by the way, he's been playing this week and walking around the court, strutting around. He's ready for the fight. But let's see who is going to play against Sinner or Fonseca, because that's who the winner of Fokina and Tien is going to play. Zverev wins 6-3, 6-4. He's into the quarters.